Incest isn't a problem if you're banging a devil. Okay, let me explain. Well, to be clear, it's not a problem for your kids. If you were born of incest, that's still a problem. But let's talk about Pinbot, who ended up turning out to be the actual Detour from a manga, Deepstalker Crow, with the Indiegogo. So some of you may notice that he didn't have a leg, his face looks a little bit messed up, and in general, he's not in good shape. So after Mercy goes into the dream, we get a chance to see his backstory. It starts out at the riverbed where Gil, his little friend, is picking up a sniper eel. He starts giving her the National Geographic biology lesson. So while we get to follow them back to town, he starts being a little bit cryptic like, hey, can I ask you a favor? I know you're going to kill me, but never mind. Mercy, being the good-souled Samaritan, tries to comfort this little acorn. Later, the memory takes us back to the town where Gil's working in her father's blacksmith shop, and the guys in the background are being a little bit inappropriate, if you know what I mean. Whenever Pinbot makes his way back to town and Gil embraces him in a hug, we get to see that the people in town don't really like the cripple very much. I wonder why. And it's right here that we get to see exactly how society views Brimborns, even in the East, where they wanted her as a trophy and not as a person. To them, she was nothing more than a status symbol, but she wanted something more. And so much like the Cardinals, our boy fumbles the bag. That's when some of this eldritch horror starts to come into play because why is there a random door popping up? Why is it screaming? And why is our girl drawn to it? Why does this creepy guy keep on saying, let me see their latest attempt, my child of the endless dream? So when the door shuts and Mercy wakes up, Pinbot's crying again for some reason. To the sound of a roar, we get to see what happened to Gil. What exactly caused him to turn? And it was the guilt he felt for causing Gil's death. So Mercy, being Mercy, gives him a little pep talk, letting him know everything's okay and that he's got to let go. Unlike the kids from the village, who definitely took their anger out on our boy here and left him broken and beaten. And it was shortly after, that's when the Detour Torments were created and the gate was formed. Their little trip to the dream world's all happening while Valona's sitting here fist fighting a fae. I'm sorry, a great fae. But let's talk about biology and incest real quick. Because when we look at his origins, his mother and father ended up having a daughter, and the father ended up sleeping with a daughter who died during childbirth and then gave birth to Pinbot. When we look at Gil's upbringing, who wasn't that great either, her mother was having an affair with her father, and when her original husband died, they hooked up, and then he took over the blacksmith shop. If Gil and Pinbot were to have a child together, because Brimborn are creatures designed in hell to reproduce, females will always reproduce flawlessly what the husband's race is, and the males will always produce a Brimborn. So if Gil and Pinbot were to ever have a child, they wouldn't suffer any effects like he did. They would be a perfectly healthy child because the Brimborn is the perfect reproduction machine. Because every devil is created with 3 orders, and one of the orders for the Brimborn is reproduction, and to fill the ranks of Hell's army. So they did have the potential to actually have a perfectly healthy life, if the Beetle Bear didn't get their hands on Gil, that is. But if you like The Witcher and dark fantasy stories like Claymore, it's basically those two mashed together. And they take place in the same world as The Devil's Deal and Night of Slaughter.